You ready? This time I'll call to order the City of Shamokin Council meeting January 9th, 2023. May we stand for the pledge and standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. This time, Mr. Slady, roll call.
Councilman Milburn,
Here.
Councilwoman Shinsky,
Here.
Councilwoman Moyer,
Here.
Councilwoman Ennis,
Here.
and Mayor Ulrich,
Here.
all present and accounted for.
Okay, do we have any presentation?
No, sir.
No. Acknowledgements,
No, sir.
bids,
No, sir.
correspondence,
No, sir.
citizens' comment contingent upon business listed on our agenda. Okay, at this time, I'd like to have a, I'm sorry.
Please, if you haven't already, sign that sign-in sheet.
Round.
Thank you.
Jesse Storm, Brokers Realty, Stone Investment Company Properties. Again, I just want to come here before the second reading and urge council and the mayor to strike out the section about suing the county for reassessment. I think it's a big mistake, and I think if we really looked at what that's going to do, it's going to hurt Shamokin, and it's going to potentially hurt a lot of other communities in the area for the first 4 to 6 years of that reassessment. I know it's only an option, but again, that option could be 3 years from now when you guys aren't sitting here and there's somebody else in your seat. You voted, you made it an option for them to do it. I ask that you strike that section out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Under minutes, I'd like a motion to accept the minutes of the City of Shamokin Council meetings for December 5th, 2022, December 12th, 2022, and December 28th, 2022, which was also a special public meeting as item 1.
So moved, Mayor.
Second. Thank you. Anything on the question? So got my hand?
Councilman Milburn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shinsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Moyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich,
Yes. I'd like a motion to approve the bills from December 2022 as listed on the bill list.
So moved. Second.
On the question?
Councilman Milburn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Shinsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Moyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Ulrich,
Yes. Okay, under Director's Report, Accounts and Finance.
I have the treasurer's report for the month of December 2022. General fund balance, $306,781.97. Total liquid fuels motor license balance, $153,373.07. Total library balance, $118,581.67. Total sinking fund number 1 debt service balance, $122,562.79. Total sinking fund number 2 recreation balance, $288,605.95. Total street lighting balance, $8.99. Total American Legion balance, $2,106.84. Total neighborhood mitigation fund balance, $20,316.34. For a total balance in all accounts, $1,012,337.62. Submitted by the city treasurer, Brenda Scandal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Public Buildings.
I don't have anything much, Mayor, Council. You can see that we're going to be voting on the schedule that Music in the Park is submitting for approval, as we usually do. And Betsy, do you want to comment or on the meetings we have coming up?
Sure.
Fill everybody in on that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Streets and public improvements.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to remind everybody that the camera project downtown has been going, they've been putting cameras up, there's a lot of trash that's being now home trash. I noticed in town in front of the housing authority, also on Lincoln Street is a major issue with a lot of home garbage being dumped, and I want to talk to Larry if we can look in to see what is going on downtown for sure. It's not just white bags now they're putting black next to the trash things. I just want to remind people the cameras are up and please stop dumping your trash, home trash, at our receptacles in town.
All right, thank you. Public safety.
Okay, from the report from the Bureau of Fire, and this would be the final report of Chief of Department Stephen Jeffrey. This is the December report along with our year-end, some basic year-end totals. For the month of December, we had 15 service calls, 6 fire alarms, 6 hazardous condition calls, and 5 fire calls. And we did 4 with the rescue company and rescue and emergency services. We had a total of 36 calls with 80 members responding total. And that gave us in-service hours were 126.05 hours. And the total man hours were 738.29 man hours for the month of December. Now, for the year-end totals, we were dispatched to 112 service calls, 83 fire calls, 77 false alarms, 71 rescue emergency services calls, 45 hazardous conditions calls, 3 special incidents, 2 malfunctions, and 1 call for severe weather. So our total calls for the year 2022 were 404, with a total of 115 personnel responding. The total hours that the department was in service was 1,182 hours, which totaled up to 4,778 man hours. We also provided mutual aid to 15 different municipalities. And that was respectfully submitted by Stephen Jeffrey, Chief of Department of the Bureau of Fire. From the Code Office, rental revenues for the month of December were $330, parking permits $850, and other permits were $4,430. There were no code violations and no fines from the magistrate's office, which gave the code office a total income revenue of $5,610.00. The code enforcement activity was 73 complaints were addressed, 50 notices of violation were sent, there are 28 citations written, 6 landlord inspections complete, 9 properties posted unfit, and the code office also responded to 5 fire calls and 13 warnings total. So once again, the code office is doing a fine job. I just had to make a call to him this morning myself on the property in Bunker Hill that has to be looked into. I'm sure maybe some of you folks may be aware of that up on Packer Street. But other than that, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, treasurer. Do you have anything for us, Mrs. Kemp?
I do not, sir.
All right, well, thank you. See the cog.
I'm the sole representative of CEDACOG here this evening, and I just wanted to apologize again for missing last month, but I was on WVIA's Keystone Business Edition talking about City of Shamokin, so that was very exciting. I have a few updates. First of all, as a reminder, the Shamokin reconvening meeting, which is open to the public, is February 7th and 8th, 2023 at Mother Cabrini Hall. So there's hours of 4 to 7, I believe, on the 7th, and then during the day on the 8th. We'll have the flyer ready tomorrow. We were just waiting because the Chamber of Commerce is actually handling the RSVP, so we are waiting for a correct link for that. So as soon as I have that, I'll send to the city to post on their Facebook page, and also Go Shamokin will be posting it, and we'll be pushing that out. We also were notified that the city of Shamokin was successful with another facade grant application in the amount of $50,000. So who put that application in was Justin Scavery from Northumberland County Planning, so thanks to him. And also that is something that's run through the RDA in Shamokin in conjunction with the city of Shamokin. I did talk to RDA, and they still have 2 openings yet from last year's round. So they're trying to get those filled first, and then they'll put out the applications for this new round. So $50,000 is up to 10 new businesses that they can get a $5,000 grant if they spend up to $5,000. So it's a matching grant of $10,000. Next up is we were notified by FEMA. I guess Mr. Slavy just today received mail about FEMA. So what's happened with that is we were able to get a hydrologic and hydraulic study done for the city of Shamokin, which entailed us getting an engineering firm in here to combat the FEMA remapping of the city of Shamokin, which was going to quadruple your flood zone. So we were actually successful with that project. The plan for the H&H Act actually approved in the favor of the city of Shamokin. So now what the next step is, we have to do an appeal period with FEMA. So they have now opened that up, I think that's what the letter's about. And then we'll be able to combat that using that H&H study. So who will be involved in that will be the city of Shamokin, CEDACOG's flood resiliency team, and then also GPI, who are the engineering firm. To be continued on that. We are waiting for the Safe Streets for All grant. That's something that I put in for the amount of $200,000 to create a comprehensive street plan for the city of Shamokin. Also, we are waiting on our successfulness of our CFA multimodal grant, which will match up with the Congressman Muser appropriation for the downtown. So all total, if we get all the funds, it'll be almost at $5 million to do a complete redo of the downtown, which would be Independence Street from Market Street all the way to Shamokin Street. If we only get the 2.675, which has already been allocated to us, we'll just shift how we spend that money on Independence Street. And something I wanted to bring up, that might be a good time that we get different kind of trash cans that people can't physically put in. I can't stop if they put it next to the trash can. That I don't know how to control. Hopefully the cameras will help that, but we could change the trash cans. They have them where there's only slots that you can stick in. Yeah. So I'll be working with, I don't say Congress. I bumped you up real high.
Thank you.
Yes. Councilwoman Lashinsky on that project. So we were notified though that to work with Department of Transportation to get that funds. Also, as Councilwoman Moyer alluded to, we are working with DCNR West Beringer about the volunteer park and footbridge plan. So our new project for this year is we would like to put in a footbridge between Clog Haler 1 and now Volunteer Park, which used to be Clog Haler 2. So we're working with him, and we have a meeting with him next Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you drive past Independence Street, you'll notice the illumination station is moving along nicely. I don't know if there's anything much we can do till it gets warmer out. It looks very barren right now, but all the concrete's done. Everything that needed to get done before it froze got done. We were successful with getting because we were supposed to have it completed by December, which also meant plantings. We put the plantings in December. Next week, we have our next meeting with the comprehensive plan and zoning book work. And, that all will be done by the end of next year. So you will have a brand new zoning book, which will be updated from 1964. And actually, the comprehensive plan is pretty much done. I think we're just waiting to unveil it during the reconvening. And also EPA Community-Wide Brownfield Assessment Grant, we have pretty much allocated all the funds for that. And then we also have applied for an additional $1 million for revolving loan fund. And that would be to remediate any of these places. And lastly, something that I'm working on is, if you recall, my technically last day of being funded here in the city of Shamokin is June 30th of this year. So what I'm working on is an ARC development grant to extend CEDACOG's time here. Now, this has nothing to do with CDBG, that's on a different. But this is for revitalization efforts, like what I'm working on. It would extend it another 3 years, but then also we would bring in a downtown manager, which is really what you need. So that would be a city employee, not a CEDACOG employee. And that would fund this person for 3 years, including their benefits, including keeping an office and their phone and computer, all of that. And then it would fund CEDACOG on a contracted basis in a step down. So next year it would be 75% of my time and 50, 25, just to keep you need an employee here, quite frankly. And why I'm saying a downtown manager, if we wanted to bring in, let's say, somebody who's just in charge of grants, which is quite frankly what your downtown manager would do. A grants person in the city would want about $70,000, $80,000 a year, where we can hire a downtown manager for more like $45,000. And then we would work with Pennsylvania Downtown Center to help support that person. I think that is it. Thank you very much.
Chief Psycho.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the year-end report for the police department, juvenile petitions filed were 21, criminal complaints 250, non-traffic citations 61, traffic citations 351, traffic warnings 35, parking tickets 1,923, parking citations 245, sweeper tickets 1,446, code tickets 125, for an overall total of 14,864 calls and 40,956 miles patrolled. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, under new business, could I get a motion to approve items 1 through 11, please?
I'll second.
Second, anything on the question? On the question, Mr. Stoney?
Mr. Milbrand,
Yes.
Mrs. Blaschinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Olber.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimous.
Okay, do we have anything under unfinished business? Okay, under boards and committees, I request a motion to reappoint Angie Arnold to the Shamokin Housing Authority. Her current term expiring January 2023. This would be for a 5-year term expiring January of 2028.
I'll make a motion.
That gives us. Okay, is there anything on the question?
Just, excuse me, when does her term actually expire? The 1st of January? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Milbrand,
Yes.
Mrs. Blaschinski,
Yes.
Mrs. Moyer,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Olber.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimous to reappoint Angie Arnold to the Shamokin Housing Authority for a term of 5 years.
Okay, under solicitors report, Mr. Greco, Attorney Greco.
Thank you, Mayor. What we're doing is having a second reading of ordinance. It's actually 23-01 because it would be adopted in the year 2023. The city of Shamokin, Northumberland County, Pennsylvania, approving the second amendment to the municipality's financial recovery act recovery plan prepared by the Act 47 coordinator. Be it ordained and enacted by the city council of the city of Shamokin County, Northumberland, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as follows. The second amendment to the municipality's financial recovery act plan for the city of Shamokin as prepared by the Act 47 coordinator as may be revised is hereby approved, and implementation of the same is hereby directed to take place in accordance herewith. All ordinances or parts thereof inconsistent with this amendment are hereby repealed. This ordinance shall be effective 10 days after enactment. So we would need a motion on that, with just a few comments prior, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
The 18-month extension was enabled because of the pandemic. So the second amendment is allowing the city for 18 more months within the recovery plan, which is a certain benefit to the city. There was one prior amendment that was done in 2015. That was the first amendment. This would be the second amendment. And in particular, I just wanted to point out to a comment that was brought up. Chapter 3, under elected officials, administration, and finance, the following initiative, the city consider litigation against Northumberland County to force county-wide reassessment. It's only directing the city to consider it, not to implement or start any litigation, just council would consider it. This goes on to say if Northumberland County is willing to undertake countywide reassessment, the city shall consider litigation against Northumberland County. Once again, it doesn't say forcing the city to initiate litigation. So all it's doing is having council consider it. Copy of this plan has been on
At the front counter.
since the first reading. Right. So we would need a motion, Mr. Mayor.
So moved with the understanding that as Attorney Greco just explained, that this is just a consideration. This is not a vote to go ahead with that part of the plan, pursuing for that. And I'd like to have that so noted in my motion that my motion is to make sure that it's in there that
Just 2208, but in 2301.
Motion to amend it, to amend the agenda. Can you make a motion to amend the agenda? I'm sorry?
Is there a question?
Go ahead, sir.
Apparently there's a question. It's second reading of ordinance 22-08. That was consistent with the first reading that took place last year. But in actuality, this is adopted in 23.
That's correct.
So
Okay.
there was a question saying that it's improper listed on the agenda because it should be.
It's a number, and in my opinion,
Right.
Mr. Milgram that has a comment attached.
I said I just want to duly noted that as Attorney Greco explained, and my motion is contingent on that portion being just a consideration. Just a consideration.
Yes.
It is not, this motion that I'm making is not to say that
Your
we.
comments will be acknowledged in the minutes when the minutes are prepared.
Correct,
And this is being.
right. And that's why I wanted that to be contingent, so I'll move on that and I'll make the motion contingent on that being the way the attorney recommended.
I'll second it with
So
the
he's
same,
making the motion.
with the same contingency as Councilman.
Do we have anything on the question? Yeah, I'm not out of order, I just wanted to, I know we're fortunate to have Commissioner Kim Best with us. And I know you're not supposed to assume, but I'm assuming you're here out of concern with that. So I hope we were able to kind of make you feel more at ease that we aren't looking, that's not like our priority. So, and we want to thank you for taking time to come out and attend our meeting. Do you want to make a comment or do you have any questions?
Does council have any questions?
Pardon me? No, I don't think we do because I think we know how we feel. So, but I wanted to recognize you and let you know where we are and thank you for taking time to attend this and you show your concern.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. If you have anything.
Just here to listen.
Okay.
Any questions or concerns or things
All
you
right.
might have heard or,
Right.
that's what I'm here for, just information.
All right, thank you. All right.
Okay, there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Milbrand,
Yes.
Mrs. Lashinsky,
No,
Mrs. Moyer,
yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mayor Olber.
Yes.
The motion carries 4 yeas, 1 nay.
Okay. Now, do we have any citizens' comments?
I have one.
Yes, okay, come up to the podium, sir.
You gotta sign in here first off.
You did. If you could just state your name and where you live.
How you doing? I'm Mr. Anthony Floyd. I live 806 East Chestnut, Shamokin, Pennsylvania, 17872. I made a call to the police today, and the police officer told me that any business has a right to tell me to leave for me doing nothing. And I know these places are kicking me out because I'm black, like I'm really a minority right here. And I couldn't understand why the police officer would tell me that any business had the right to kick me out for no reason. And I believe there's laws already passed that biracial and segregation and stuff like that can't sit down at a dining table because you black. It was passed already. So I don't know, maybe there's a new law or something came up that I need to know about.
Chief, can you help him out there?
I'll be honest with you, as far as the legal issue, Mr. Greco can probably answer it better as far as a private-owned organization has the right to refuse service to anyone.
Well, again, I know nothing about what he's suggesting, so I don't, it would be improper for me to comment, especially if it wasn't.
I'm aware what transpired, but I'm not going to discuss it because it's a police incident.
And
But I know I'm sorry.
I said that's why I wouldn't comment.
And my suggestion would be to call corporate. That would be my suggestion, because I understand the situation. And I don't
Is there a
want to
number
go further
that I
with
can
that,
give
but
to corporate?
I think with what transpired, corporate would be probably the best solution
I
for
don't
him.
know who you're talking. If you're waiting, we're gonna be done shortly. I'll be glad to take your name and phone number and help you get a number.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. All right, is there any other comments?
I'm Joe Lashinsky, I'm in Shamokin. So Betsy, this thing that you were talking about, is that something that would be applied for through the city? Or would that apply, like that thing for the downtown business manager, would that be through Cedar Cog?
So what would happen is if we were successful, actually the Shamokin would be the applicant for that. And then CEDACOG would just be contracted. It's not a CEDACOG grant. It would be a City of Shamokin grant.
Okay, and that's not applied for yet, so that could take a while.
We're hoping to have everything done, so it'll be seamless, so that way in July I'll be here just like I am in June.
I hope they extend that.
I hope so too.
I mean, was your question, is the person gonna be paid? by
No,
City Hall or the
it's,
city?
where would they like,
Okay.
if, when that comes through, like, where would people like who are interested in the job apply? Would it be like here at City Hall, or would it be on Market Street with CEDACOG, or?
So probably I would help with I would make a recommendation of who it would be, but it will still be, it's City of Shamokin. It's probably gonna be the EDA, who's the actual applicant of it, but it would be a City of Shamokin position.
Okay. And then I just want to comment on that vote that just went through. You know how, I guess, from just speaking, how most of you feel, but just people need to remember too that there's 3 council seats up in next year's election, which is a majority that could not feel the same way that you guys do if, you know, if that so happens. And hopefully next year I'll be back here, so we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, maybe real quick, you don't need a 3-minute timer. I just ask every council member and the mayor to take out your checkbooks now, sign a check over and lay it down in the center of the floor, because in 10 months, there could be 3 people that pick your checks up and sign and put an amount on it and send it on off to be spent. Because that's what you just did to everybody in Northumberland County. By making this vote and passing this vote today, you wrote a blank check that any person sitting in those seats in 10 months has the right to cash without your word in 10 months. You wrote a check against everybody in Northumberland County, not just Shamokin. And it's a blank check. We don't know where that's going to go or where that's going to come. Some of you ran on an election for change. This isn't change. Thank you very much.
Mr. Storm, before you leave, if you were paying attention there and you listened, that said consider, that would still have to take a vote of this council if we were going to go through with that particular part of that exit plan to sue the county. No, we have not voted on that. We did not vote to sue the county.
You did not vote to sue the county. You did not vote to sue the county.
No, we did not.
You voted to adopt that program that the people sitting in those seats in 10 months could take a vote and move that legislation forward to actually sue the county when you're not here in 10 months. So instead of blocking that, protecting the community, you wrote a check that you can't cash.
Before we go on, I would say that every city council, board of municipality, township board, school board, any government entity in the United States of America votes on things that perhaps the current members will not be a part of, seeing through. And it's the way of it. All boards are subject to change, and we must make decisions based on best information that we have now and go forward. Of course, some of us may not be here. That's every single elected office in the United States of America. And that does not, relieve us of the obligation to act our conscience, act what we think is best, and move forward. And that's just the way things go, for all boards. Sorry, go ahead.
Excuse me, just if I may follow up and just take Ms. Councilwoman Warner's comments one step further. Any municipality within this county could take the initiative to file such action against the county. The adoption of the Second Amendment doesn't give the city any special treatment. Any litigation such as that could be initiated by any municipality. So it's not limited to municipality in Act 47. So to say that it's Shamokin's responsibility to do it, that's not. That responsibility or that action could be taken by anyone, any municipality.
Why is it left in there?
Well, I'll take it out there.
Anyone can do it.
Mike again, it's 43 South Shamokin Street. One of the things, and this is going with this, I'm assuming that you're voting yes, so we get the extension That's what this is about, getting the extension. That's what I'm assuming,
That's
right?
correct, that's
Okay.
correct.
One of the reasons why I just came up is I'd like to, I saw it in the paper, I'd like layman's terms from Mrs. Scandal's idea here about getting this loan. Can you reiterate, I mean, can you just, what do you mean to do with this? Because I'm looking at, you know, I mean, we're in a crisis here, so any option is a good option, you know.
My thoughts are that the city try and borrow $5 million, which would pay off the MMO for years, okay? A loan for 25,000, for 5 million for 25 years. Okay, we have enough money to pay that debt off by adding 6 mills onto everyone's tax bill, real estate. And by also readjusting the millages where they're at currently. Excuse me. 6 mills would equal to about $39, $40 for anyone living in a half a double. Someone who has a single home, about $67, $68 a year. Because it's only gonna be the city portion that would go up. This isn't talking about the county or the school.
Okay, now with that 39 per year, now now of course we won't get what are they taking?
EIT.
The EIT, they're not taking that extra money. How much do you get per person on the EIT per se?
Well, what's DCED is stating is we get approximately 800,000.
Right.
There's also some other things that we can do. We can increase on the occupation tax. The school district right now and other municipalities around the area, for example, Cole Township, they are at a 200%. Right now, we're at 100%. And oh my God, that would double what we bring in on our local occupation part. So that would only affect working people. It would not affect retirees or anyone else.
And these are, am I correct in this? Correct me if I'm wrong. These are issues that are, and ideas and suggestions that are going to be discussed at a future meeting with Act 47?
Well, with us, I'm
I mean with us.
yes.
I
Yeah,
just like to get it out in public because it's like, you know, I don't want to assume you guys are all just sitting there with your hands on your, you know what I mean? So, and and when I heard your suggestion, I was like, well, here we go, let's get the brain going, you know.
and my suggestion may not be 100% right, but it's somewhere to start.
But I'm looking at it
All these
like,
people here can add to.
but I was looking at
my
this, well,
thoughts.
I'm gonna get that money from my EIT back after next year. If it's $39 and that's how much I'm getting raised, so it's, you know, it's half a dozen one way, you know.
Actually, you'll probably get
so,
more back,
so, okay,
you know.
thank you.
Mayor, can I just reapproach for a short comment? Just so you guys are aware, like I've said before, there's many ways to approach this and look at this. One of the simplest ways, Manor Township just did a couple of years ago when they were going downhill, they instituted a temporary streetlight tax. So every property within 500 feet of a streetlight paid $39.50 for the year as a temporary tax to get through their issue on budgeting. And that lasted for, I think, 6 years. And then they terminated it when their budget was balanced.
Well, my thoughts were to actually get rid of the street lighting tax. And move that millage up to debt service by taking the loan,
Is there currently a streetlight tax?
yes. But it's very, very minimal. We subsidize our liquid fuels with that. We pay electric with it, is what we do.
Yeah. Why not jump the streetlight tax up to $39 or $59 a year per property within
Because
500 foot?
then, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Within 500 foot, because then some owners are going to pay for 2 or 3 streetlights, which was an argument that happened in Manor Township years ago when they instituted it. But then the public understood that it was a short-term fixed budget stopgap. It was the simplest and easiest way until other directions could be adjudicated to flatten the tax rate. Plus, sometimes if we're holding down on what our expenditures are during that 4 to 6 year period, you're potentially lowering your budget and your increases are coming in a little higher because of people's earned incomes going up and things like that.
I understand what you're saying, but that would not help us at all, because if you increase street lighting tax, the state and federal government has laws that now we can only use that for streetlights.
But you reallocate money that were used other
No, you
places.
can't. You must use, our recreation tax goes into the recreation fund. You know, our street light goes into our street light fund. The debt service goes into the debt. So that's why getting rid of that tax, we would just use that amount of millage and move it up to debt service. Our library, our mills on the library, I mean, for probably, oh my God, 10 years, we're at 0.75 mils. Then it went to 4, then 8. All those mills can be moved up. We don't need that amount in library, because then you're stuck. That has to be spent on the library.
This is a scandal. In all fairness to everybody else, maybe you can meet with them.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.